Hotter than hell. All that and more now on Graph's Grievances. At least 9 Texans have died due to heat-related illnesses in the past 8 days, as the Lone Star State and much of America's South suffers through unrelenting, searing, triple-digit heat and extreme humidity. More than 100 million Americans now under heat warnings and watches due to an unrelenting weeks-long heat wave. Temperatures expected to climb up to 20 degrees above normal for much of the region through at least the weekend, with the heat index likely ranging from 100 to 115 degrees. For days, heat-related emergency room visits have been spiking, up nearly 31% from this time last year in Texas. The extremely unusual early summer scorcher resulting in a surge in power usage. According to officials, power use in Texas broke an all-time record yesterday. That record is now expected to be broken again today as demand for air conditioning surges. This record-breaking heat wave, the direct result of human-induced climate change. Numerous scientific studies showing that extreme, long-lasting heat waves would be nearly impossible without human-caused global warming. For decades, climate scientists have warned of the direct link between increasing global average temperatures and the burning of fossil fuels for energy. The past 8 years have been the hottest on record, and average summer temperatures are on the rise across much of the United States. This heat having deadly consequences, resulting in over 700 deaths each year in the United States alone. Extreme heat now the top weather-related killer in the U.S. These totally avoidable deaths, the direct result of our reliance on fossil fuels for nearly the past 2 centuries. And while there is no silver bullet to solving our world's climate crisis and reversing the decades of human activities that have pumped enormous amounts of heat-trapping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, there is much we can do to address this crisis if we don't allow ourselves to be stymied by partisan politics. That is sadly what is happening in, you guessed it, Texas. This year, Texas Republicans introducing a series of new legislation aimed at stifling the state's thriving clean energy industry and boosting fossil fuels. According to the New York Times, several bills recently passed by the Republican-dominated state Senate contain provisions that would add new costs and regulations to the solar and wind industries and severely limit the number of new projects in the state. Republicans also backing legislation that would increase the amount of gas-fired electricity generated by the state and exclude solar and wind industries from energy tax breaks. These absurd legislative priorities potentially having a dramatic impact on Texas, which is fast becoming a leader in solar and wind power. The Republican stronghold has nearly doubled the amount of solar energy generated in the state since the start of last year, and it is set to roughly double again by the end of next year. Clean, renewable energy now accounting for around 40% of all the energy produced in Texas. So why are Texas Republicans doing everything in their power to make solar and wind energy more expensive? They are concerned about the state of the fossil fuel industry, which has long powered Texas' electric grid, and critically, the state's Republican Party. Last year alone, the oil and gas industry directing more than 90% of their political contributions to the Republicans in Texas, totaling over $19 million. So as Texans are suffering through one of the worst heat waves ever, that science tells us is a direct result of climate change, Republicans in the Lone Star State are betraying their laissez-faire economic principles to prop up the fledgling fossil fuel industry and attack clean energy. All of this ensuring that their fellow citizens continue to suffer and global warming only gets worse. Thanks for watching Graph's Grievances. Let me know what you think and please subscribe.